Okay, I think I am live. 1 second. Just the usual, try to make sure everything is on and correct. Let me see. I think everything should be fine. Yeah. I think everything's good. If something's off, please let me know, anyone who's watching this. But okay. Yeah, let me just double check something. It's because I'm actually trying something a little bit different here for the stream. Yeah, I think everything's working. Okay. Okay, so hello everyone. Nintendo Nurse back here once again. Hopefully it's been a while. It's been what, I think almost a week and a half since I last streamed. I know last one was Link's Awakening that I played, but yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, I've been a little busy, both school and IOL stuff and all that, fun stuff. But hope you all have been good. I know I mentioned I was gonna stream last week, but unfortunately, studying had came in the way, and again with school and all that business. But hopefully, y'all been doing pretty good. So today, I kind of just wanted, I guess, we start streaming again. Today, it's gonna be not really much of a like important stream or anything like that. I just want to talk with you all and just kind of catch up a little bit. So yeah, like I said, hope you all have been doing good since we last spoken. This past week, I've been actually a little busy. And obviously, if you haven't looked at the title, I was busy studying for an exam, which is called the HESI A2 exam. And that's kind of be the purpose of the stream, is just talk about the exam and my experience and all that good stuff, and kind of explain a little bit on what it is, and kind of like what my whole plan is for nursing school. My next step to doing nursing school. But yeah, so basically I was preparing. To what is it? Studying for the HESI A2 exam. So basically, if y'all haven't heard what a HESI exam is, HESI exam is kind of like an exam specifically for people who want to go into the nursing field, and it's been kind of, I guess, implemented a little bit more frequently in schools that I've seen. Honestly, this is, well, what is it? I know they've been offering this exam, I think, for a couple of years now, but at least from where I currently am at, they kind of only started to implement the exam probably maybe like 2-3 years ago at the most. Yeah, it's not really that long that they've been using this exam. But I mean, the reason why they may kind of, I guess, implement this exam is kind of because since so many like applicants, like so many people want to become, obviously nurses, they kind of, I guess, add that exam to kind of, I guess, add, an extra step, or I guess like a little bit of a not curve, but I guess try to add some, I guess, difficulty in terms of what is it, like in terms of how do I put this? Like another way, it's not like that easy. I guess just when you want to go in, they need to obviously do this extra step, and if they pass it, that's good. Then that means, I guess, it's more eligibility for them. But yeah, that's kind of what I've seen, or what I've at least from what I've heard of what the exam is for. Now, anyway, but the HESI A2 exam, I'm gonna go a little bit more detail as I go along. But this is kind of like from my experience. I'm gonna talk about my experience for the most part. So I barely heard about this exam, I would say, last spring semester. I did not really, know about it too much. I think from my first college university, they barely talked about it. Probably for about, they probably barely, I guess, used it again, like for about maybe 2 years. And obviously I've been there for a lot longer, so I guess we're still making changes as time goes by. Which, I mean, that's understandable. But anyway, so yeah, they kind of implemented the exam about 2 years ago. So when I really heard about it last spring, I was like, okay, that's something I never heard of. So obviously got more information about it and realized it was a test. It was a test of different subjects, and well, we'll go in a little bit more detail on those subjects in a bit. Um, but yeah, that is something that I found out about on was that. And from there, I kind of studied. Because since I heard about last spring, my first test, well, I tested. My test was around June. Oh no, no, I think no. I'm sorry. That was my second attempt. My first attempt was around May, around the end of May, and so I studied. I practiced all I needed to do. I tried my best. And surprisingly, it's well, when I took it, I really didn't know what to expect, honestly. Because I mean, again, for me personally, when you get like study guides, even if it's from like I guess like the official company themselves, you really don't know what to expect. I mean, sure they can give you some like similar things, some similar questions, and all that good stuff. However, yeah, you really can't expect you can only expect the unexpected. Because I mean, again, there's only so much that they can do, or so much I guess they can show you. But when you're there on test day, well, you really don't know what to, I guess, again, expect from what it will be on the exam. But yeah, so basically, when I took my exam, um, it was within the college, my first college university that which is the one I'm currently going to. And today, well, no, I'm sorry, not today. Um, when I took it the first time, well, basically, y'all know I have a visual impairment at this point. If you haven't checked out that video, definitely do, I do recommend you reference back to it. But yeah, so since I have a visual impairment, I obviously need, accommodations and things like that for exams. So basically, how it worked was our time limit was, I think, like 5.5 hours. So one of the accommodations I usually get is double time, which is extra time on exams or quizzes for that matter as well. And they obviously just double the amount of what a regular student would get. So if it's 5.5 hours, well, I get 11 hours. Now, when I actually heard about that for the first time, I was like, okay, there's no way I'm going to be in there for 11 hours in one day. So, thankfully that was not actually the case. They kind of, obviously, they kind of basically what they did was they split it by two, what is it? 2 days. So basically, the first day was like 5.5, and then the other day was 5.5. But again, it's kind of like only as needed type of thing because I can't tell, if I'll get tired that day or if I'll, be a little bit more slower that day in terms of like vision. You're looking at the screen and just kind of watching myself. I mean watching whatever's presented on the screen, whether like the exam or anything like that. So that was kind of what the double time is for in general. Now another one I actually kind of got was another combination I got was individual testing place, or like a room for an example, and that's not really, I mean, I don't want to say that's not necessary for me, but it kind of goes along with the double the time. And I mean, the reason is because, well, I mean, one, if I'm gonna have double time, it's gonna be a little bit different than other students. So individualized testing rooms, is kind of what is recommended, since that way I won't be like I won't be like the last one, and it's a little bit, I guess, less anxiety on me, and a little bit less stressful on me. That way I won't need to how's it, I won't be needing to like worry about, okay, wait, am I really the last one around. But yeah, that's one thing that I guess that's another thing why I kind of get individualized testing in the first place. Actually, I guess like little bit of a backstory in that. When I was like in elementary or like middle school, grade school, my younger, when I was young, I was kind of like a little bit like off on that. Like I really wasn't like into it. I don't know for what reason. I guess because I mean, I guess kind of I want to fit in with everyone, but of course, kind of, developing and, still learning about your, disability impairment. It obviously, isn't that, it's not that easy, especially when you're a child or a kid. Um, so, I mean, I guess that's kind of why I was a little bit like, a little bit hesitant at first, kind of like doing that individualized testing. But no, anyway. So, yeah, that was another accommodation I did for the exam. And I don't think that was about it. No, I really don't think that was actually about it in terms of. I think that's about it in terms of accommodations. Again, since it was because the thing is about the HESI exam is all computerized. There's no paper. There's no. I don't think there's a paper test. If there is, I'll be really surprised on that one. But no, I think it's all computerized. Just kind of like the well, no, I'm not even sure if they give like SAT or ACT exams through paper anymore. I think they do. I don't know. It's been years since I've actually looked up into those exams and all that good stuff. But anyway, so yeah, so that was kind of like how I did for my accommodations, and I was there actually for the whole day. Um, I think yeah, the whole time, if I'm not mistaken. Um, yeah, the first day I was there the whole day because in a way it is kind of a long test if you think about it. Which again I'll go into the sections more detail as we go along, which I'll actually show y'all some stuff that kind of is on the test and things like that. But yeah, that's something I heard about. Um, and when I took the exam the first day, I only completed maybe like I think it was 3 sections. Um, yeah, 3 sections was not yeah, it was like 3 sections, and I think I was like halfway done with one section. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to finish that day, but I figured, okay, that's fine. I'll come back the next day. So I did do that, and that second day, I don't think I took. No, it wasn't even all. It wasn't even the whole time. Honestly, I think it was maybe like not even half. Um, but when I took it, so when I completed it, I got my scores, and well, unfortunately, I did not actually pass that. um, yeah, I think I failed. I think I kind of missed like I think it was like 3 sections. Two of them were like barely, like I barely missed it by like I think 1 or 2 questions, while the other one I kind of did miss it, I think by like 4 questions at most, if I remember correctly. Um, so yeah, that did kind of it did kind of put me a little bit down a little bit. Also, I guess a little bit also discouraged, I guess you can say, because I was kind of excited to finally start, because basically that when I took that exam the first time in May, I guess even the second time, it would kind of like allow me to apply for the nursing program for the spring semester of 2020, which is this coming January. But when I felt the first time, I was like, oh my god, oh my gosh, hopefully, I don't know what to do next. But you know what? I decided, I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna try a second time, because apparently there was like 2 attempts. Well, not 2 attempts, but there's like 2 versions that I think the either college or university has. Maybe there's more versions out there. I don't know, but at least the ones that I've taken so far, there's only been 2 versions. But that is something that I decided to do. So when I what is it? So obviously I studied again, a little bit more harder, a little bit more intense, and I studied, the best I could. And surprisingly, when I took it the second time, which was around the end of June, if I'm not mistaken, I passed. Well, no, I passed 2 sections, but I still failed 1 section. And ironically, I got the same exact score on the one I failed as the first time. And I was like, what? um, yeah. Again, one. Yeah. That and I mean, I kind of like understand that section honestly. But again, I'll kind of explain when I show you all the actual sections. I'll kind of explain more in details, like my perception of them. But when uh, when I when I got the results for that one, at that point I was like a little bit, discouraged again. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? I'll just leave it like that. I'm gonna study again, and then hopefully during the fall semester I'll retake it again, and we'll see how I do. And I mean, and actually kind of like at that point I was like, okay, you know what? If I don't, even if I don't register for the spring, um, I mean that's fine. There's always next time, I mean, I'm not gonna let it, over control me at that point. And I was like, you know what? I'll just let it go. I'll just wait and we'll see how it goes. Plus, I think I had some other stuff. I think I was doing. If I'm not mistaken, I think I was actually doing summer school that summer. Um, so actually, imagine that. Summer school on top of like studying for an exam. That's a little bit of a stuff to what deal about. Especially because I mean I'm not sure if y'all know this, or I'm not sure if this actually applies to all colleges or universities, but the summer classes are actually a little bit more intense than obviously the fall semester, because well generally they're supposed to be shorter, but yeah, what was I saying? um so when I saw that, or when I took the exam, I mean so afterwards I focused on my summer class. Thankfully I actually did pass. I got an A. And from there on I focused on the fall semester. And at the same time, when the fall semester started, I started preparing myself for the exam again. um, and this time I thought to myself, okay, you know what, I'm gonna try to study the best that I can. Even if it means like putting off some stuff, you know like prioritize, obviously, and do the best I can. So originally I was going to, I didn't really want to take it at my first college university, only because I'm not really sure why. um, I really don't know why I chose to do it at my second college university. um, I think that's because since I was already there twice, I really didn't want to do it at the same place. I guess I don't know. Um, but yeah, so I thought, let me just try it at my second college university. And if you've been keeping up with the streams, um, I mean, hopefully y'all know that there's a reason why I'm going to two colleges now. Or like at least into both of them at the one point in time. But yeah, um, so when I did that, so I did try from the second college. And so these past like, again, like that's kind of why I've been like absent for the past week and a half, is because of that. I've been like studying nonstop, and obviously still with school. um Actually, also because I actually did have tests regarding the semester in general. So yeah, it was a little hectic week for me last week. And yeah, that's why I really couldn't stream at all, or really do much. But that's why I kind of encourage, if you follow me on social media, definitely do follow me. Links in the description. Not to obviously end it off. I mean, I'm not ending it, but not to say like too early. But that's kind of why I keep updates. And if you're interested in following, like what I talk about, like not on the stream, definitely do come by. I mean, definitely do uh, feel free to follow. And I'll show a little bit more about that stuff as as it actually happens. Um, but anyway, so yeah, that is so yeah, I've been studying for about a week, and yesterday I took it. Now, since yesterday was only planning on taking one section, but then I kind of realized, you know what? I barely passed one of the sections I took the second time, so why not try and boost that up? And so I did that, and sure enough, I actually passed it. I passed both sections. The one I actually did fail twice, and one that I did score, that I did barely pass on the second time, and actually got I got both A's on those two sections. And I was like, I was a little surprised for me because I was like, wait, what? I was not expecting that. I really wasn't, and to kind of see that, I just was shocked, because especially like for the one I barely passed on, I was like, and like as I was going through the question, I was like, I don't remember, I don't remember like this, I don't remember that, and I was like, let me just like guess some of these, and sure enough, I guess it really did help me out. But yeah, so thankfully I did pass both of them, and now thankfully I did pass it, and just goes to show that no matter how many times you take it, don't give up. Always keep studying, and try and see what you can improve on. And you'll see eventually you'll get it. Again, it took me 3 attempts throughout this year to kind of actually, I guess, pass all sections. And sure enough, I was able to pass it in the end. And now, I'm on my way ready. But I'm a little bit too ahead on that part. But let me actually talk about at least the exam a little bit in general. Or at least talk about each subject and all that stuff. So I'm gonna be switching to my desktop camera, and on my desktop, that way you'll be able to see my screen, and that way because I don't have any visual aids to kind of show y'all. I did have my study guides, but actually as soon as I finished the exam yesterday and found out that I passed, I kind of just gave them away to to another student that actually did needed them, and hopefully with that they'll be able to pass the exam. But yeah, so I don't have those books or manuals anymore. So instead, hopefully at least what I'm going to show y'all is at least kind of a good way to explain a little bit, and I'm going to go through each section and kind of show y'all my points of view on how it is, and hopefully kind of gives, I guess, a little more of an insight as to what you expect if you are planning on taking the HESI exam, and hopefully this actually does help you in some way. But yeah, so real quick, you're gonna see I guess a duplicate screens because I'm only using one monitor to kind of obviously stream. So so yeah, just 1 second, everyone. Okay, so I think y'all can still see, yeah, so y'all should be able to see the multiple tabs, and let me actually go on here. Hopefully y'all can see this. I don't think I can actually see it on my end. Let me double check. Give me 1 second, guys. I just want to make sure everything is showing the way it's supposed to. Okay, yeah. Okay, it is. It should be showing my screen, so that's pretty good. Okay. So, this is obviously a website you can just look it up on. But again, I just want to show my points of view as I explain it, and as we go through along, this page. But so obviously, and this is, I guess you can say, a little bit outdated since it was 2016, but in a way it's kind of still applies. There's not really much has, I guess, changed within the past couple of years. I do know that the main company who makes the exams are releasing a new study guide, I believe in April of this coming year. Now obviously I don't know what changes will be made. I don't even know what will be applied into it, but that's something to look forward to if you're studying for, I guess, the next fall semester. Maybe you can get that study guide, the newest edition, and see what is hopefully it helps you on that one. But anyway, so so yeah, what is obviously, well, yeah, I guess what is a HESI? The real name is HESI A2, but I'm gonna call it HESI. So what is the HESI exam? So obviously, if you can see here, so the HESI exam is for nursing schools. So basically, and it's true. Yeah, not all nursing schools require this exam, but that's why I kind of recommend, if you want to go into it, definitely check it out and make sure you need this exam. Because yeah, even today, not all colleges or universities are requiring it. But I mean, if it is for your school, definitely do get more information about it. And, obviously, see what you can as much as possible about the exam. But so it's basically, again, like an entrance, or like I guess you can say it's like an ACT or SAT to kind of apply into the nursing program that you want to go into. So again, this exam is all online. It is a multiple choice test, like it says here, and then the only thing that is a little bit off, it's not it's not 5 topics. I'm guessing they only chose 5 because I guess that's the most popular ones, which in a way it's not. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but I mean, there is more sections on this, which I'll talk about in a bit. I mean, personally, I did not need to take those extra sections, but I mean, I'll try and explain to as much in general as I can on those, since I never did take those sections. So yeah, these 5. So I mean, yeah. So I mean, here, yeah, I guess I took the 5 topics that they explained here, and then there's also one person. No, well, there's not. It's not only one personality assessment. I think there was another one. I think there was 2 of them. Yeah, there should be 2 of them. So yeah, this is a little bit. Honestly, I don't think they really added those other sections, but anyway. Yeah, it's a little bit, I guess, misinformed, but it's trying to, I guess, explain in general what it is. But anyway, 5 hours. So yeah, so it's kind of accurate. Maximum is 5 hours and 15 minutes to complete the exam, which in reality it's like an average. Again, it depends on the nursing school you want to apply for, your college or university. Some will require only some sections, and you'll have less time on it, because I mean, you don't need, like, for example, if you only need like 3 sections, you don't need 5 hours 15 minutes to complete it. But it can range from, like, from what I've seen, it can range from like 4 hours to 6 hours. And again, it just depends on what what sections and how long the college university will actually give you for each one. But yeah, so with the time limit, so basically, kind of what topics do they go over? And then here, so I mean, obviously we're gonna talk about subjects from here, and then so first off will be anatomy and physiology. Now this one, I will admit, this has to probably be. This is actually the section that took me 3 attempts to kind of pass it. And in a way, I can probably see why. And the reason is because with A and P, it's because, in fact, I'm actually need to, hold on, I'm actually going to go on the, hopefully, I'm not sure, okay, I'm not sure if so if you can hear the background noise, I'm not sure if, I can't even tell if it actually picks it up or not, because actually I did also get, like, one of these real quick, like this, like, little muffler, it's like a little, like, coating, I guess, to kind of, like, drain out the background noise. So hopefully that didn't pick up. But anyway, so yeah, so A and P was the ones that took me the 3 attempts to try, and that was actually the one, I would say, the hardest part for me personally. And the reason is because with A and P, the subject is pretty broad, and what I mean by that is that there's so many, like, topics, so many, like, obviously body systems and, like, different things that you need to study, and from there you really don't know what will, I guess, be on the exam, despite even, like, the study guides or the practice tests give you. I'm sure it can give you an idea, but that, I mean, that doesn't mean like those exact systems will be on the exam. So so yeah, this is the one I would say it's kind of like, I would say, the most difficult, but and also I guess the most broadest subject. But you know, if you do study well enough on each system, at least you should be okay. Um, you know, but so like some of the stuff that they talk about is like basic heart anatomy, which I think that's true. Like the, yeah, like the layers of the heart. I think I did get only one question from it. In fact, by the way, A&P, I actually kind of forgot about this. A&P has 30 questions, but only 25 of those count. Because 5 questions are more like, I guess, like testers for the sorry. Um, I forgot that the screen is actually being monitored. Yeah, five of those questions are not monitored though. I guess like tests for the company itself. And see, I guess like statistics on what questions I guess they should add in the future and all that stuff. But I guess what's interesting is that they don't tell you, okay, what questions, are we not counting? It's more like a hidden thing. So that's why it's kind of required to kind of see what tests they, or what questions they require. But anyway, so yeah, about 30 questions, and so obviously it's basic heart anatomy. I did get about one question again, I think, from that. Yeah, I think it was just one question, and I think it was only one question from it, and then obviously the circulatory system. That's major arteries and veins. I think I did get like 2 or 3 questions from that, because yeah, it was like, for example, what artery is located, or like what I think it has something to do with like what artery is located behind like your leg, for example. Like what is, I guess, the main artery behind your leg, and then obviously that's what it is. And then like, so then if you go along, it's the endocrine system. So obviously like what glands secrete what hormone. Well, actually, I'll take that back. Well, actually, I'm looking here like what glands secrete what hormones, what specific hormones do, how specific glands are regulated. Like, I guess I'll agree with like what glands secrete what hormones. The only thing is like, I don't think they kind of went into like what specific hormones do. Because I know I did get like 1 or 2 questions regarding like that. Like in terms of like, okay, like for example, what does the pancreas do, or like what is a hormone in general. But not like really specific, like what specific hormones. So yeah, like and then yeah, how specific glands are regulated. I don't think that was on the exam either. This for my exam. Again, this is, I'm just kind of like basing off of my experience. I could be wrong on your exam, so I'm only sharing like what I have seen. This from my end. Since each test may be different, maybe not. But again, definitely. I mean, even though I may not have like seen all of this stuff, definitely do study it, because again, you never know what could be on the exam. So moving on, joints. Now, the joints was actually, I would say, one of the most common questions I've seen. I think I got maybe about like 4 to 5 questions on the ones that I've seen. For example, what type of joint is like the elbow? Obviously, it's a hinge joint. And then like what type of joint is the shoulder? What's a ball and socket joint? Yeah, like those kind of questions I did get. And yeah, I think that was actually, for some reason, that's like the most, I guess it was the most frequent I've seen out of all the body systems. I mean, I don't know for what reason, but I guess they choose which system they want to concentrate on first. But yeah, that's like the most common questions I've seen, which was joints. But yeah. So then muscles. So let me say there are a few basic muscle anatomy questions that may ask where a specific muscle is located. I mean, not well. I kind of maybe got like two the most in terms of like the muscles, like, yeah, like for example, I think like what was the lower, like what is the, no, I can't actually remember that one, but I know like it was pertaining to like the back muscles, um, and then because yeah, I mean besides that, I don't think there was any other, like besides like identifying like muscles, there really wasn't like, it wasn't more than like two or three, I would say. But I mean, there could be more, again. So I guess just like obviously go over like I guess muscles of the back of the body in general, you know, and see hopefully that will be enough. I personally did have to study a little bit of the muscles part, and I would say like that with the skeletal system is probably like the hardest because you kind of have to remember, okay, like what is what is the bones of the arm, what is the bones of the fingers, obviously like the axial skeleton, the appendicular skeleton, the all that stuff. But yeah, so definitely with the muscles, obviously it will you might want to study that a little bit more specifically. Now going in the skeletal system, let me just show, okay, now, okay. Going into the skeletal system, so know what bone is where in the four basic types of bones. Okay, so yeah, that kind of does make, yeah, I did kind of get, specific types of bone marrow. I mean, yeah, I guess that does make sense. As far as I can know what bone is where, I don't think I got a question regarding that. Maybe one at the very most. I don't think that was on a question. I know I did get the four basic types of bones. Because I know I did get a question as to like, okay, what, like for example, I think what was the one I got? I think like what was a flat bone? Like yeah, what was an example of a flat bone? So obviously we have to choose from that. So I mean, I guess it's good to know like your flat bones, your long bones, your irregular bones. Know what it is, like the main common ones, and see what that is. And then know what specific types of bone marrow do. I did get one question about bone marrow, but not really specific. And I think the question was, what type of, or what does an infant get their blood supply after they are born, which is obviously the red bone marrow. That's one I did. That's one question I did get. But besides that, I mean, I think maybe like two or three questions was from the skeletal system. I do believe that's about it. Now going into the nervous system, nerve sections of the brain and the cranial nerves understand the ear and eye anatomy. So know each organ in the nervous system, what they do. So yeah, it is a little bit more specific, I guess, like in general here. Although it is kind of like connect. So nerve sections of the brain and the cranial nerves. I think I did get one question off of that. Yeah, because I know it did talk about, okay, like what does, I think like the like what part of the brain controls like speech or memory. And then that was about it. I didn't really get anything as far as like cranial nerves. And then if you go into like the understand the ear and eye anatomy, I did get some of those. I think I did get like one for the ear and then one for the eye. Like for example, I think what part of the ear controls controls sound. And then like I think I did get one where it says like where does earwax build up. And that's what I did get. And when you go with the eye anatomy, I I didn't really get any eye anatomy questions on that. What I did get though was where is aqueous I think wait was it? I think aqueous fluid from, and obviously that's from the eye. Aqueous humor, which is from the eye. But yeah, that's all about it for the ears and eyes. So I guess you can say do study the anatomy, but not too much. I would say focus on the physiology a little bit more, but that's about it. Know each organ in the nervous system and what they do. I guess I semi agree with that because I didn't really get nothing on like the spinal cord from what I remember. Yeah, I really did not get anything on the spinal cord. For the most part, was like the brain and just the eyes and ears. And that was about it. But yeah, still, just roughly go over, I guess, this information, and that'll be good. Now, cell organelles. Know the organelles of the cell and what they do. This one I did get maybe like 2 questions on, but it was like real basic questions. Like, for example, what part of the cell allows stuff to come in, in and out? Obviously, that'll be the cell membrane. And then, I think like, what does the Golgi apparatus do? And then, that's why you would answer that one. And yeah, so I guess all the basics. You just know, like, what is, a cell membrane do? What does a cytoplasm do? What is a nucleus? All that good stuff. Like, what is DNA located in? All that, basic general knowledge of anatomy. I'm kind of surprised that that's all that they tell about the A&P. Because they really don't go over, I guess, like, all the systems here. And I'm kind of surprised because that's what the main point of the test is, kind of go over the body systems in general. I'm actually checking something out. Anyway. So yeah, one thing, actually I didn't even leave the chat on. So I guess, okay. Yeah, I don't mean to, well, you know what, no. Let me change that. I'll just check it from my phone because I don't want to leave everyone like that. But, yeah, I'll just leave it for the phone in case if anyone does comment for the remaining of the live stream. Or at least while I'm in this, part of the live stream. So yeah, I'm surprised they didn't go over like the digestive system. I actually did get 2 questions like from the digestive system. Like, okay, like where does the digestive process begin? Obviously, it's within the mouth. And like, what foods could it have caused, a patient to look a little bit discolored? Which, like for example, if you eat a lot of carrots, obviously your skin will probably look a little bit more yellowish, bright, a little bit more glowing. So that was also some things I did get. What was another one? I did get stuff like from the urinary system, like for example, what travels urine from the kidneys to the bladder. It'll be the ureter, obviously. And then for example, I did get one as far as like the male reproductive and the urinary. So like I think what anatomical part it does play both a role in the urinary and reproductive system on the male. And from there like that, it would be it was that kind of question. Let me say that was the urinary system, digestive system. I'm not sure what else. I do believe that was about it. Yeah, because yeah, I do. It's a short, again, it's the shortest one of them all, which is 30 questions. It's one of the short ones. But yeah, they kind of go over a lot more than, from what this list is kind of describing. For the most part, they did get like the more important topics, but they did leave off a few systems apart, which I'm kind of wondering why. But so in general, just study all the systems, know the basics at least. I like one thing for an example. I think one I did see was like blood types. You really, from my point, I really didn't see any blood type questions. Or in fact, the respiratory system. I don't think I even got any questions on the respiratory system either. No, actually, no, I don't. No, I didn't get any questions regarding the respiratory system. But I mean, yeah, I mean, again, just like I recommend studying all the body systems in general, because again, you don't know what questions you'll get. Again, it could be all the same, it could be different. I personally don't know, but definitely do at least go over each body systems. And this one is probably gonna be the one you may want to spend the most time on. Because for me personally, the other sections was a bit easier, but this one was definitely like the hardest part for me, and that's why it kind of took me like 3 attempts to finally pass it. And anyway, yesterday's score I got after doing this, I got a 96, which is obviously I kind of missed it by I think one question only, which I don't even know which one I missed it. I mean, it tells you like in the report, like because they do give you a sheet of your scores. Like what did you miss? You know, what test, or like what did you miss? What was the topic that you missed the question on? Which mine was actually a digestive system question, which unfortunately doesn't tell you which exact one. But you know, hopefully, I'll probably won't remember which one I missed out. But again, this is like a general thing of anatomy, and this is again probably the one you may want to spend the most time on, since it is, I personally think, maybe one of the toughest ones to kind of go by, since it's more broader and more things to cover in, and that's where you kind of get like different kinds of questions you probably won't even know about. Yeah, so that's anatomy. Now moving on, another section is vocabulary. Now this one, now before I kind of like go into it, technically it is true. You kind of will get with context clues, because what they do in vocabulary is they kind of give you like just sentences for the most part, and it's supposed to be vocabulary and general knowledge, but for example, context clues, because they will give you like a sentence. For example, I think one I got was like, you know, like a nurse is trying to help the patient off a cast. You know, what does the word mean in this sentence? And I guess like what kind of made me redo it, you know, I think I took it. Well, you know, actually, if you count vocabulary, I did take it 3 times as well, but I really didn't need to. But I kind of, yeah, because yes, I did. Vocabulary was the section I really didn't need to, because I did pass, but I figured, you know what, let me try it again and see what I get. And you know, actually, I got a higher score on this one. But anyway, yeah, so I kind of did use a lot of context clues for the sentences, and not all of them are context clues, or even vocabulary questions. Some of them actually just like spelling, like, you know, what, you know, how do you spell prescription? Like literally, it'll give you like different like answer choices of how to, like different ways of prescription. It's like, well, obviously you need to just find the right one that, you know, is spelled correctly. And yeah, for prescription, it'll be, you know, all that. But and then yeah, I think those, and then there was some questions where they really don't give you context clues, because yeah, some of those words, they are a little bit like, I guess, tricky. So you really do kind of need to know a little bit of like a little bit of a tougher vocabulary, to kind of like have a good sense of what, you know, it is to, you know, go by. But again, it's not bad, I'll admit. You just again need to know a good amount of vocabulary words in general, and know how to apply, you know, context clues in the sentences that, you know, they give you. So I do recommend that. So I mean, here it's 55 questions, and I think for the rest of the sections here, it's all 55 questions. But kind of like with the A&P, they don't count 5, so it's only 50 questions. And yeah, that's how it kind of goes for, I think, the remainder of this topics here. But anyway, so to kind of give you like an overview on, for example, abrupt, you know, it's sudden. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna go through every word, obviously, but just to kind of give you all an example, like, you know, access, you know, obtain the definition right there. Kind of like a good vocabulary words to kind of go by. But again, definitely do know how to use context clues within a sentence, so that way it kind of makes it a little bit more easier for you to kind of you know, make the questions, I mean the answer choice a little bit more, which is the right one. Now, I think one thing I did notice was like some of the like answers, they sounded right, but there's only obviously one actual correct answer. And I'll give you an example. For cast, uh, which I know it's gonna sound funny, but for me, I did seem a little bit, like a little bit puzzling. And for example, for cast, they obviously, I mean, obviously, know it's like, for example, if you break a bone, they put a cast on you, or for leg. Um, but for the cast, they have like either what is like they have like I think some of the answer choices are like a bandage, or a protective device, or a sling even. So for me, I was like, I mean, they all sounded like so right, but then at the same time, wait, a cast is meant to be like a hard thing to kind of protect, So that's why I kind of chose protective device, and I guess that's why I did. I think I got that question right, So I mean, just those kind of like answer choices that'll kind of be a little bit that'll trick you, but obviously, just try and like stick to your context clues and know like the general word meaning, so that'll be a little bit more easier for you. So I'm gonna skip all this because again, just words. If you want to look up, you know, again, if you want to look it up, I recommend just googling HESI A2 exam vocabulary, and they'll give like different words, and you're just kind of just so that way you can study and have I guess a good vocabulary on. Let me actually go a little faster. Yeah, I'm gonna go more vocabulary. It's kind of quite a bit of vocabulary, but don't worry. I mean, it's not too bad. If you're good with reading, like comprehension, you'll be doing pretty good. Which actually kind of goes into the next one, reading comprehension. But anyway, before I go into that, so vocabulary, it took me again through. Well, technically, it only took 2 attempts, but since I did want to see if I get a high score yesterday, I took it again. So overall, my best score, which was from yesterday, I got a 92 on that one. And again, that was actually when I was a little bit surprised, because again, there was some things I was like, wait, what? What does this mean? And I figured, okay, I'm probably not gonna do either as good, or maybe not even make that change, not that much of a change on my previous passing score, which was I believe a 76. Which actually reminds me, for anyone for each section, at least for my school, both colleges and universities, that they each require a 75% or higher on each section that you take. Now, obviously, each school or college can be different, so I do recommend you obviously talking with someone if you are interested in taking a HESI exam. Ask your college, what the requirements are for the exam. Because there's some that don't even require like a passing score. They just want to see like the higher amount you get, the better chance you are into getting in the program. But for obviously the for the what is it the my colleges and universities, they do require a minimum of a 75 passing score or higher. But again, definitely do check that out for your own purposes. Now next is speaking about context clues and reading comprehension. Now involving the reading comprehension, you'll read a passage, yes. If you understand the point, there'll be usually around 8 questions. Okay, that is not right. There'll usually be around 8 questions per passage. I don't think I even got that many questions per passage, honestly. No, I think 8 is way too much. I think maybe at most, like I was 6, but no, there was not 8 questions per passage, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, again, from my experience, it was only 6 at the most per reading passage. But I mean, 8 is a little bit too much, because there was definitely more reading passages than even what I could tell. But anyway, yeah. So, what else? So basically, the reading passages. It's kind of funny because like if you like look in some of like these study guides, that like for example the ones I use, they say they'll be mostly medical based, and that is not really the case. You'll get some like medical pertaining stories, but in reality, they're not that difficult. In my opinion, they really weren't that difficult. It was actually one of the easiest ones. I guess that's kind of why I passed on the first try. Um, because actually, some of the stories was actually kind of they were actually pretty interesting, and I mean they weren't boring at all. They weren't really that specific, and they weren't really that too bad in general. Like again, some of the study guides they kind of like I guess I'll admit they can overdo it. Like giving like long history passages, and it's like, oh my gosh, like is this really gonna be on the exam? Which was actually one of the I think one of the study guidebooks that I got. They really went into that detail. I was like, okay, this is not really what is on the reading test. But kind of give you an example. Like they kind of go based like phobias. Like yeah, one section is like phobias. One of them kind of pertain to what is that like driving. One of them pertain to like the rainforest. I think one of them actually talked about like the what is it the water cycle if I'm not mistaken. And like another one is like I think another one was about sleep. So I mean it's stuff like and I think one of them which is actually like the most like upsetting was like playing bridge like the card game. And I was like, okay, this is an interesting passage. Um, but yeah, I mean again, they aren't all medical based in reality from my experience. They're just more in general passages, and they don't go in that specifics in reality. Just again, I guess try and read the. I mean, you could read the study guides and at least I'll practice though. But yeah. In general, the test was not really that specific in terms of, like the reading passages, and as far as like each question for. I mean, the amount of questions for each passage. It wasn't 8. I would say mostly around 5 or 6, but it was not more than that amount. Now, in terms of like what it says here, what's the author trying to imply? Okay, yeah, that kind of does make sense. Yeah, like this one I did kind of get in some passages. What can be yeah, also that like the main idea. What's the author's motivation? I think I did get some of that. Now, this one I kind of don't remember too much because I did take that one back in May, and since that was one I did pass. I haven't really taken it anymore. What is the underlying word? Okay, yeah, it's like vocabulary as well. What is the author trying to say in sentence 7? Yeah. I'll probably say that one, yeah, because it's kind of like what can be inferred, or like what can lessons, yeah. It's kind of like the same thing here. But yeah. I mean, again, not that hard of a section for me, honestly. It was pretty much easy. The only thing I do kind of, I guess, will be the hardest part is the answer choices, again. Sorry. Yeah, one thing that, I do think is, like, because, again, there'll be, like, maybe 2 answers that may seem right, but there's only one answer that is 100% correct. So yeah, I do highly recommend when you're taking the test, just read it real carefully and pick the right ones, and you'll do fine. But yeah, that's the reading section. Again, this one is 55 questions but only 50 count. In this section I got a 92 on the first try. So again, if you like reading, you won't have a problem at all. If you are having a little bit of if you have trouble reading, definitely do recommend reading from the study guides, from the example passages. It may be a little bit more complicated for some of them, but well, depending on the study guide that you get, but definitely do try your best on them, and it'll give you a good idea. But if you can pass like those difficult ones, you'll probably do perfect on the excuse me on the reading section of the exam itself. Now moving on to another one is grammar. Now let's see. Now this test focuses a lot of questions like fill in the blank. Yeah, that was actually true. Yeah, like which of following is to me grammatically correct. Yeah, that did kind of make sense. Those questions that list multiple sentences, which of following is incorrect? Well, wait. No, because they kind of like. I mean, I think from what I remember, they did kind of did ask me like what was correct like for example, like which sentence is correct, not incorrect, but I mean maybe I could be wrong on that. I don't remember this one too much because I did last one was in June, but so yeah, this means I need to know basic basic vocabulary and grammar rules. Context clues to answer most questions accurately. I mean, if it's based on vocabulary and grammar, like spelling, you could probably, but I mean, again, you just kind of have to know basic grammar, like in terms like commas, punctuation, all that, basic stuff. So I actually don't even like give you like any like I guess like examples. They kind of go about it here, but not really too many more examples after that. So I guess in my experience with grammar, yeah, there was like spelling questions as well. There was like, which one will make it, correct. So I mean, like I guess my opinion is like study, your punctuations, your types of like sentences, because I think I did get a couple on like, complete sentences, complex sentences, compound sentences, all that, mix and match stuff. And I mean, that's all I can think of, I guess, to say about this section. I mean, again, I know it's a little bit more general on this one, but I mean, yeah, this is one that just know your basic grammar rules, and then you'll probably be fine. Because again, there's not really much difference that they can throw at you, if you know the basics on this. So for grammar, for my section, again, it's 55 questions, but only 50 count. I did get the first time is the one I was close to passing by, I think like 1 or 2 points. I believe I got a 72 or 74, between those two. But yet when I took it the second time, I got an 82. So that's kind of like, well, I stopped there and I just took that 82 and left it like that. But yeah, definitely I do recommend, you all just studying in general the sections, grammar stuff, and you'll do fine. It's not too hard of a test, but you just gotta know your good grammar rules and basic punctuations on that. And I'm sorry, just real quick, I need to check something before I continue. Okay. No, I don't think nothing is important. Yeah, no, that's no. Okay, I'm sorry, everyone. didn't mean to push you off that for a bit, but anyway. So that's grammar. Now, next one is math. Now, I'll admit, math was probably the easiest section I got. Because it was the first one, and that's the highest score I've gotten. And yeah, so if you're good now think about this. If you're good at math, you won't have a problem at all. Now, I know some people have, troubles with, math, and I do completely understand that it can be a little bit mixed up depending on like because they do kind of give you like some word problems. Sometimes they'll give you like a little bit, not complex problems, but for example, you have like fractions, it can look complicated, but again, for me personally, it was the easiest one of them all, and it's the highest score I've gotten. So for example, like here it says, fortunately for math, you will be a computer calculator. Yes, you do. That it can make that correct. It is true that you do get a calculator on the exam. It's a computer calculator, which it's a bit unfortunate because it's kind of a bit, you have to like click on each number and all that stuff, but it does get the job done. And it's not like a simple calculator. It's kind of like almost a scientific one. And I think it had like exponents. It had, I think even like parentheses and all that stuff. So it was kind of like a scientific based calculator. What's good is you don't need to know like too much algebra, only because there's not that too many complex algebra questions, so there's no graphs, there's no like complex, solve for x, there may be like some simple ones of those, but it's not like too complicated for you to to learn or anything like that. So for example, fractions, you probably will need instant fractions. This includes how you add and subtract. Yeah, definitely will do that. Mixed numbers, I think I did get some of those mixed numbers as well. If you can reduce fractions and find the common denominator, you will be fine with the... Now, the funny thing about the math section, and I barely realize that right now, is that some of them will be, like, fill in, well, like, what is it? Input your own answer. Like, it's not multiple choice. Some of them will require to input like the number yourself, and from there you will need to yeah, it's kind of like, obviously, I'm not sure if y'all had this like in grade school when y'all went to, grade school. But like, I'm not, like, from us, they had like those little bubbles. Like, I guess like a little grid where you have to like bubble in like, your answer choices, and like right on the top of the bubbles, like the number that you're trying to write. And yeah, that's kind of like how it was. But I mean, yeah, it was kind of like that here. Just like, you have to type in your numbers, or whatever your answer is. But yeah, and then that is where the fractions. I mean, that's kind of fractions. Word questions, yes, there are some word questions are pretty basic. Yeah, it's not that bad. I think there was one that was like medical related, but the rest was kind of like common based. I know one was like pertaining to like birthday parties, like how many balloons will you need? And then that was kind of like pretty easy to deal with. And also I apologize, guys. I'm not sure if y'all can hear like some background noise again. I mean, again, hopefully this thing is actually helping out, because I'm not even sure if this like covers actually even blocking out like some like the noise from the computer or something from like outside of my room. But if it isn't, I do apologize for that sincerely. But anyway, so proportions. Next thing, yeah, value of x from a proportion, and we'll be able to make a proportion. For example, 40% of the class is female. I did kind of get that type of questions. I think I kind of did get like, well, no, it's kind of, because the same thing is like, it's kind of the same thing with fractions, so it's not really proportion by the question. But yeah, proportions, definitely you may need to know some of that. I did get a couple of, but it wasn't too difficult. But I mean, if you know all that good stuff, do recommend doing that. Conversions, I'm not sure. I think I maybe have gotten like 1 or 2 conversion questions, but that was it. Personally for me, I don't think that was about it. I mean, yeah, it was kind of easy. It wasn't like too difficult on conversions. So I mean, yeah, if you know your basic conversion, like cups to ounces, or like, from pints, you should do pretty good on that one. Now Roman numerals, now that's the thing, like, that would be if you, now for me personally, I don't even think I got a question pertaining to Roman numerals. Even if I did, at most just the one. There wasn't really there wasn't a few questions, maybe like one. But again, I don't even think, I mean, I did study them because I did thought, okay, it'll be on the exam, but I personally did not get any Roman numeral questions from that. So yeah, so I mean, that's what I was like, huh. But yeah, I don't think I did get any Roman numeral questions, but that's about it. So yeah, so that is, let me say, that is the math section. Again, 55 questions, but only 50 are counted. Again, just know your basic, I guess, like high school math, I can say. If you can do that, you'll more than likely do well on this test. You don't need to go into too details like in algebra. I mean, there's not really that much even algebra honestly in there, so you'll probably do fine. I mean, there's no graphs, there's no geometry even, there's no like complex stuff, not even calculus. You'll do fine. I mean, if you know, again, at least like the, I guess, pre-algebra, I guess that's what it's called, and like general math, you'll do fine. But yeah, so I think that is the 5 sections. So I think that's kind of it for this one. That's kind of what I experienced from this one, at least from these 5 sections. So I mean, this kind of page does kind of go over the basics. Some information is a bit, I guess, misleading, and some of it is not included, but it does give you a general idea on what the HESI exam is in general. There are some sections that it does not cover here, but I'll explain that. In fact, let me just change back to the main camera section again real quick. So just real quick, everyone, you'll see a duplicate again. Just real quick, please. And there you go. Okay, so I think hopefully that does. I'm still watching it from my phone, make sure everything is fine. Okay, yeah. So I think I did. Yeah, I did get that one correct. Okay, good. Okay, so yeah, so everyone, so yeah, that was like an overview of the exam in general. Although again, I don't what is it? Like I don't. That was kind of in general of like the main subjects that they do. Most schools do require, but then there was some other sections that they may not cover. For example, that I personally am not taking, and there was one that I did take, but for some reason it was not on there either. And one of them, for example, is like biology, chemistry, and physics. Now, here's something what I don't get. Biology and chemistry, I can understand why they may be required because you do need to know some basic, obviously like the cells and like even some like chemicals, like how atoms and all that stuff work, how molecules work for like pH levels and all that stuff. But I wonder why physics. We're not gonna like try and say like how fast a patient drove to. It could be wrong on that, but how fast the patient was going until they, got that car accident, how severe, was that impact. As far, again, I could be wrong, since I didn't really need to focus on the physics part myself, but I'm not even sure what the physics section even covers, honestly. But I kind of found it a little bit funny as to like, okay, why did we need to do a physics section? But yeah, that's what I was like, huh. But I'm kind of glad I didn't really need to do physics either way because, yeah, that's probably the weakest science even after anatomy. Because yeah, I can imagine how difficult physics can probably be. But what else? Yeah, so again, those biology, chemistry, and physics, those, I'm pretty sure it's also like a 30 question thing, but only 25 count again. I don't know exactly what is tested on there on those sections. So if you are needing those kind of questions or those kind of sections for your program, I definitely do recommend looking up and see just going by the study guide and study what you need to for those sections. And yeah, and then the last section that I did take that for some reason it does not show on the web page for some reason is what we call critical thinking. And critical thinking is a section where it's kind of common sense based questions. And to kind of give you, I guess, an example on one that I remember getting, for example, let's say a child is having a vaccine, but the child is asking, will this hurt? And then obviously from those, they'll give you like 4 choices, like, okay, like how to respond. And each question is right, but only one is like the best answer. And that's another thing, like they don't grade you on that section. They go on a score from 0 to 1,000. And obviously, the closer you are to 1,000, the better you are at critical thinking. And yeah, those kind of questions, again, all the answers are correct, but only one is kind of gives you the most points and the most, I guess, best answer you can give out. But yeah, there really isn't a way to kind of even study for that exam limit because even like the official study book of the I don't even have the book here. Because even the official study book of the HESI exam, they don't even go over that section. So there really isn't much you can really look up on. The only thing I can suggest, so maybe Google, HESI critical thinking, and maybe there'll be some examples, but only up to so much. But yeah, that is another section. It's not a hard section, honestly. If you know your, I guess, common sense and things like that, you'll do fine. Either way, again, for my in fact, actually, the second college university that I took yesterday, they don't even require that section, but my first college university requires that. So I was like, huh, that's a bit interesting. But yeah, so when I took it the first time, I really didn't really need to pass it or not, but for my score, I got an 850 out of 1,000, so I think that's pretty good. Because the recommended score, I think, was 800. So I did kind of past that. I did kind of get, I guess, a little bit above than what was, I guess, recommended or the minimum of the nationwide if those who do take it. But again, there's not really much of a score based off that. It's just more how good you are on your common sense and your thinking skills and just trying to see how well you can do on that. But yeah, besides that, I think that is about it in terms of like the HESI exam overall. Again, it was a bit of an experience for me to kind of go through it again, three tries. But thankfully, I did pass all sections that I needed. So now, what is next for what I want to do now? Basically, there's nothing. No, in reality, really, there is not really nothing I can do, at least for now. it's kind of I guess the waiting game for me personally. And the reason is because I mean applications are now already obviously not available for my first university. And actually the applications won't open until like December. If I'm not mistaken, like I think late November, early December to kind of submit the application, and and that will be for the fall of 2020. So I mean between like for example, let's say I do get accepted into that, from between January through basically all the way to August. There was nothing for me to do, and I'm pretty sure they'll have something that we'll need it. We'll have some stuff to do, like maybe get like supplies ready and like textbooks, maybe even do like some exams, perhaps. Like because I know there's like a math quiz you need to sometimes do. But again, I mean, I don't know too much on that since I'm not in it yet. But I mean, again, even though it'll be like an empty semester, it'll be some stuff to do, which will keep me busy, which I'm happy for. Now that's for the first college or university if they do accept me, which that's for my bachelor's. Now if I go into the second one, which unfortunately applications while they are open right now, I can't apply yet because I haven't taken the like last class required. But now that I passed the HESI, now I'm able to take that class in the spring semester. And luckily it's only like a 6 to 8 week class. However, it is a bit intense in terms of they actually do focus on like calculations, like I guess like medication dosages and all that stuff. And they go like a little bit more into medical terminology, and I guess they kind of go in general like what nurses do and all that stuff. So it's kind of like I guess like an intro to nursing class. And for it only being a 6 to 8 week class, it's gonna be pretty intense, I can imagine. But again, and while again that second college university is only an associate's degree. Um, yeah, I mean it's fine. I feel like I have a better shot there on getting accepted, but I'm still gonna try and fight for the first college university despite the problems I've had. I know I mentioned briefly here. Um, but because I mean yeah, I still want to pursue my bachelor's, and if I do, it kind of makes it a little bit more easier for me when I want to, since I do want to get my bachelor's. Um, and then yeah, that's what I want to do. But for now, it's pretty much it. I mean, yeah, the waiting game. I mean, I still have this semester's classes to finish off on, but I mean, it's only like 3 classes and it's all online, so I have a lot of free time now, basically. So I mean, basically that's about it. So for now, at least in terms like this semester, do expect a lot more streams. Um, I will say. Um, like for example, I'm actually gonna be doing one tomorrow, which covers last week's abnormal psychology topic, which is eating disorders. And from there on out, I'm not sure what I'll do. I do know I'm gonna actually go live on Friday. To do a fun stream that it's gonna be hilarious, yet also kind of interesting to try at the same time. So I won't say what it is, but if you kind of follow along with what games are coming out, you'll probably have a good idea on what it is. Um, yeah, so I definitely want to do a stream tomorrow and Friday, maybe Thursday, if I can maybe squeeze in some time on what to do. Maybe I'll do like another gaming stream. Maybe I'll do like Splatoon or Super Mario Maker or something like that. Um, which I mean, there's like so many games that I have that I want to try, but that's a little bit of another topic to kind of I guess either touch on in the future or kind of like maybe only pertain in social media. But yeah, so I mean from here on, guys, it's gonna be a little bit more streams, a little bit more frequently now. So it's gonna be maybe like 3 times a week now. Now that I have a lot of free time now. But I mean, yeah, we'll see how it goes, and I look forward to, coming back and, continue doing what, actually do enjoying with you all. Because yeah, it's real fun. I do enjoy the streams, and, it's really, it's actually, I love doing it. I love sharing my experiences with you all, and, despite that, my nursing thing is on hold, it's only still beginning, so I'm looking forward to do that. So with that being said, I do believe that is about it for this stream, everyone. I just kind of wanted to, come back, kind of explain why I was out for a week and a half, and, kind of, tell y'all, what tests I was taking and, what it's about, share my experiences with y'all. and you know, just kind of tell, you know, what my plans is for these next couple of streams, and kind of for quite a while. So yeah, hopefully, you know, y'all enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a thumbs up in the in the stream. I do appreciate it. And I guess I'll leave a question if you did reach this far. To leave in the comments after this is over. Have you taken the HESI exam? And if you did, you know, how did you do? You know, are you already into the program, into your nursing program, or if you didn't, do you plan on taking it? And what? Hopefully, no. Hopefully, this video did help you all. And you know, just, you know, any general questions regarding the exam, you can let me know. I don't mind answering back, since I mean it's not really much anything medical related, like, and then, you know, so I don't mind sharing, you know, some details if y'all need further ones on specific subject areas, but or recommendations on, you know, I guess study guides needed. But yeah, so if you did, yeah, so definitely leave me in the comments if you know, have taken it or have not taken it. You know, let me know your experiences on that. And if you haven't, do follow my social media, because that's kind of where I put a lot of updates on, and like what future streams are, and you know, like I do like a little bit of like I guess like well, not unboxing, but I kind of show like what games I got, you know, for that day, and you know, just kind of do like a mini post and all that stuff, you know. So but definitely do that. And if you haven't yet, please, if you haven't subscribed, and if you want to continue seeing, you know, these type of streams where I talk to you all, and even do some fun gameplays, which there'll be a lot more on those for the most part for now. Definitely do consider subscribing, and definitely click that bell notification, so that way you won't miss out the live streams. And but yeah, so yeah, if y'all enjoyed it, hopefully all this helped you all so much. And yeah, I think that's about it. And hopefully y'all have a good rest of your day. And I'll definitely see you all tomorrow. I'm not sure what time yet, but probably in the afternoon around this time, maybe a little bit later, but definitely around, you know, that time. But anyway, guys, hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.